Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Becoming the 1% Podcast. I'm super excited to tell you what we're going to discuss today. Kicking off 2023, the team and I meet for this episode to discuss our goals. We bring in Andie White. She is the owner of Versatile Operations, and she is our brand new PR representative, the newest member of the team. Very excited. Hope you guys enjoy. What's up, Andie?
How's it
Going?
Welcome. This is exciting. Thank you so much for agreeing to doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So I wanted to use this episode for a couple different things. Just for those watching, this is actually the team as it sits minus one individual. Sorry, Braxton. We'll get you on the next one. We got to get him in here.
Yes.
But this I wanted to use as a 2023 launch pad. I wanted to use this episode to talk about the goals we have. I want to introduce Andie first and foremost. I want to hear, from you. I want to start with your backstory, kind of how you got into this. To give a 30,000 foot view for the listener, Andie is doing PR representation for us, and we are so excited and thankful. Mm-hmm. It's pretty darn cool to finally make that step. It's been a long time coming. Very difficult, shockingly difficult to get a hold of somebody who's both reliable and, just good at their job in the field of PR. So let's start there. Please tell me how you got started.
Sure.
Talk to me a little bit about it in the back area, but give that to me again. How did you get into this business?
Sure. So I got into this business without actually having a start in this business. So I began scaling operations in 2019 in the political industry. So right out of college, I got scouted to be the COO of a political consulting firm here in Arizona. So
wow.
I helped.
What did you study in college?
Environmental policy. So also
Okay.
just,
Okay. Yeah, that fits.
Yeah. So traditionally, I was scaling candidate operations for dozens of really important personnel in Arizona. And then that slowly transitioned to, okay, what else can I scale?
Yeah.
It's like, I can scale some of the hardest operations to scale in state. What else can I do?
Yeah.
So I started studying outside of work, outside of school, business. I was like, okay, well, what's a business about? How do people scale a business? So on my own, I am very self-taught, but my ability to execute has really brought me a lot of success in the business operational field.
That's so cool.
So I did found my own company recently called Versatile Operations, and that is all about scaling businesses and making sure that they have an operational process and systems so that they can be more efficient, effective, reach a higher level of profitability, also reach a larger network of people, which is where the PR comes into place.
Sure.
Yeah. So having that reach for companies is so important to scale. So that's why I'm doing the PR for you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love that. I love that the way you even just describe the title that you created for yourself is that it's very easy to change based on what the client needs, what the business currently needs, because operations manager, am I saying that right? Or how did you phrase it?
Yeah, you can say
operations manager.
It's like fractional COO work.
Perfect.
So that can fit in wherever it needs.
And that could mean anything for any given company, depending on the field, depending on where they're at. Are they a startup? Are they 5 years in, 8 years, all that kind of stuff. And having the ability to sort of, and when you reached out, that's why in my head I was like, okay, well, let's see how well she can pivot, because you initially pitched me on, hey, I want to come in, I can help you with your systems. And obviously you are, but it's good to know that you can change and just sort of adapt to whatever the company currently needs.
Yeah, because also building a channel for public outreach, that is building a system, that is building a process. We're building you a wider network. And so that pivot, that's correct. Yeah. It's versatile.
It's so exciting. And it had to happen for a long time. I knew that we've talked about either hiring an agent or having a PR firm or something along those lines for probably the last year. And we're about 8 years in. And I mentioned this to you a while back that at the 5 to 8 year mark is right around where I saw the potential for a podcast and for an expansion beyond just actual training. That kind of took shape a lot more with the partnership that I made with Eli, and then now with Jake, and now with yourself. It's really kind of fun to see a one-man, it's not even an operation, a one-man passion turn into an actual team and turn into an actual company.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great. But yeah, let's go kind of around and just sort of talk about, we're in 2023. This is the new year, new me vibe, whatever we personally think about that particular statement. We each have goals, maybe personal goals or business goals, but I would love to hear both, specifically pertaining to what we're doing here. I want to kind of just kick that off. And Jake, why don't you kind of start us off? And a lot of people also, maybe not know your role aside from the co-host. Sure. Talk about that. Like, let's talk about what we're going to unpack in 2023.
Yeah. And I'm excited because in this particular form, we're going to be talking a little bit about the launch of your online stuff. Mm-hmm. And so Strict Vision Athletics Online, there's a bright future ahead. To what you were talking about, we're going to be figuring out how to implement and then scale it. And so it comes down to a lot of very important decisions like, what are our initial offerings? How are we tiering those offerings? Mm-hmm. And then, how are we going to promote them? How are we going to bring people in to the online realm?
Right.
And how do we have a unique proposition here at Strict Vision Athletics? I mean, look around. We've definitely got a unique look and feel. So how do we package that into an online program and really motivate people to go, hey, this is the person, this is the trainer that's going to see me through and get me into the shape that I want to be in. And so a lot of those decisions we're working with Braxton on. We've been dialoguing back and forth to try and figure out, what's the best way to do this. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very excited. There's a lot of things to figure out, but we've done a lot of work in 2022 so that we could set ourselves up in a place in 2023 to really take advantage of online in particular.
Yeah, remote coaching has such an incredible expansion. And there's a couple things I want to touch on for that particular topic. I think remote coaching specifically has been given a bit of a somewhat tarnished name in the industry sometimes just because of the massive saturation in the market. So many people are doing it. So many coaches claim to be doing it. And with everything that we do here, I like to provide a way in which we are the exception to the rule. I would rather work with 100 people and offer something that is white glove and just so much more outstanding than anything else in the market rather than work with 10,000 people and provide the same cookie cutter type service that they can get anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And I was watching, it's funny, in preparation for this, specifically this topic, I was Googling kind of what are the big online goofs, like who's the worst, like what trainers are notoriously bad, or what coaches or companies that sell those programs that end up kind of, the industry just rejects them for one reason or the other. And there's so many. I mean, of course, Liver King stands out, but even way back before him, V-Shred, there's a lot of companies that tried to do this and ended up just kind of going for the money grab. And that to me has never really been the way that I've seen it, which is honestly a part of the reason why I've never done it. Yeah. But now in 2023, with you coming in, with us being able to actually create, scale, and as you said, create different tiers of programming based on whatever side of the market we want to reach, I feel comfortable that we can actually deliver something that will be worth the price of admission, whatever the choice is from the person.
Yeah. And with online training, just as with in-person training, it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some people in a situation where they just want, they want something that's more generic that they can follow general guidelines. Mm-hmm. With other people, they've got injuries, diet restrictions, whatever, that need to be taken into account. So they need more of the one-on-one time with you so that you can put together a custom game plan for them.
Right.
And that's where we get into the high-ticket coaching. How do we craft a high-ticket offer that is not generic, that is personalized to the individual, that allows one-on-one interaction with Brandon on a weekly basis. But also, we've got some cool bells and whistles we're looking at putting into it. Food delivery, Instacart food delivery. So, for example, Brandon can put together your meal plan. And after he does that, let's say every Sunday, he can actually Instacart order your food for you.
Isn't that sick?
To your door. So you're not having to go out to the grocery shopping. You're not having to count macros. You're not having to do any of that. Wow. It's literally showing up at your front doorstep. And then you're, eating those meals for the rest of the week, and
Yep.
then he's changing it up for the next week, the next month, etc. So
Wow, that's awesome.
100%. Yeah, the food thing's enormous, and I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I'm looking into eventually having a prep company for actual in-person training clients that want to get their actual meals delivered here. And then, like you said, for the remote coaching, we have the Instacart option. So actually being able to get food is going to be a big, nice little bolt on to whatever program they're currently on. That's a big thing. Nutrition's huge.
yeah,
But yeah, online training, that is definitely one of the most promising and exciting aspects about 2023, at least for me, from both the coaching side, also from the business side. The ceilingless cap to the number of people you can reach and work with is so incredibly exciting. And having the team that is now prepared to deal with that new traffic, that's also exciting, because that's, again, as a one-person operation, it's just not possible to even consider doing something like that. But now with other people here, it finally is. So yeah, I'm excited about that too, bro. Andie, I want to hear about kind of your vision. Yeah, we introduced you. We talked about what you did with other companies.
Sure.
You're doing PR for us. So what do you see? What do you like about what we're doing? What do you see the expansion looking like? How do you see the growth happening in 2023? Tell us about that.
Okay, so when I met you, first of all, you're an incredible visionary.
Thank you.
Yeah, as like a full body integrator, like I was saying, I love it. So when I came into this facility, I couldn't believe what you had created. You come in here and you forget where you are. It's such an experience.
Thank you.
Having that as the driver to promote you guys on a new leverage point within different communities, new audiences, a larger network, that is the goal in 2023.
I love that.
And it's entirely achievable because the product is foolproof. And you guys have done an incredible job.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. No, I am very excited about it. About even not talking about the possible publications or any of that kind of stuff. The podcast guest list that can grow with someone like yourself, who's just the job is to do outreach and to reach out to these people. It's so exciting to me, and I find myself. My mind, I always sort of think for tomorrow and the next day, and I always kind of I spend most of my time in the future, honestly. It's probably something I should work on, but I find myself focusing quite a lot on what happens in here, even more so than I do what happens in the gym. The gym's always been kind of my background, and that's always been my passion, but I have found a real love for this kind of conversation, learning from people, talking to people, and just having the opportunity now to reach such a big bandwidth of new guests is just so exciting to me. So I am thrilled to have you on the team.
Yeah, it's easy to leverage Strict Vision Athletics because it's such an experience.
It's fun.
So yeah, it's awesome. So people are naturally attracted to this. Everybody I show, they're like, whoa, what is that? So I mean, it's gonna be a really big year.
Yeah. I think so too. And I think there are a few, DJ Walton was talking about this when he came here. There's a few very unique aspects of this experience that the larger guests will certainly consider when looking at what we're offering.
Absolutely.
It's private. That's a big one.
Right.
The fact that we can get these sorts of people here who, if they were to try to do something like this in another place, they may be mobbed, or they may be, you know what I mean? This is an area where they can actually come, they can do a full-on podcast with incredible equipment, get whatever it is they need to get out. They can do the gym, but we wanted to create an experience that would be more than just a one-on-one conversation, something that actually created a Disneyland feel and give some great content too. Yeah. That's the other thing. The content from the podcast I don't care if you're us or Bert Kreischer. I mean, everybody can get something great out of this. And that's a big thing as well.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's funny you bring up Disneyland, because that's the one thing I was thinking of when you were talking about the unique brand that you set up here. It's like Disneyland has a corner on the Mickey Mouse ears and, the experience and all of that.
I hate Disneyland.
Disneyland. Wait, didn't you just go?
No, I didn't just go. Ellie wants to go though.
Oh, well, that's right.
Yeah,
I'll-
I'm gonna take her this year for her birthday.
Well,
but-
if you hook on Harry Potter World to that, I'll meet you guys.
yeah, I think there needs to be an invite established first for
Ah,
and then we'll talk about going to Harry Potter Land.
Harry Potter World. It would be
Oh,
awesome. I've
World.
never been to. I've never been there. I've been to Disneyland when I was a kid, but I've never gone anywhere else. Like, I've
I
never
will
done-
say the thing about Disneyland. Have you guys gone to, like the Star Wars section of that yet?
No.
No.
That is
I
actually pretty
haven't.
cool.
Is it?
I'll get
When is the
credit.
last time you went to Disneyland?
I went to Disney World last. With
Was
my-
that or-
with
is that
my
Orlando?
kids.
That's
Yeah, that's
Florida?
Orlando.
Florida?
Orlando. It's a little bit better than Disneyland, but
Is it really?
I'm sure it is.
Oh, is it?
yeah,
I bet it
it's
is.
an
It's a
Everything
low
is-
standard.
Yeah. Eli. So I want to hear from you, buddy. So everyone mostly knows what you bring to the table: the content creator, the operator of the podcast, and of course all the social media. What do you see happening in 2023? You got any sneak peeks or any goals?
So, for those who don't know, my name is Eli Fournier. I'm Brandon's younger brother. I run most of the social media editing, the content creation, producing the podcast. I mean, you can see right here, I'm editing like as we go live. Really and truly, when we look at goals and everything, when we talk about the new year, new me, I'm not a big believer in that. I think
Amen.
you are establishing yourself throughout the year. You should have goals 100%. It's a good time to reflect on the goals you had previously, what you need to adapt, what you need to change moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm always a big believer in setting goals that are not outcome driven, more so the principles of what you need to do, and then whatever the outcome is, so be it. So for us, whether that is posting every single day, twice a day, whether that is having a podcast every single week, doing all the things that you're supposed to do, having a morning routine, being consistently in the gym, having all of those established on your goal sheet, I think is way more important than saying lose 25 pounds this year or stick to a diet.
Right.
I think for me, it's always been about creating SMART goals, which if you know the acronym, I think it's specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and timely, or something along those lines. Is that it?
Mhm.
Who's that? Like that's from
That's
someone.
on Google.
Every personal training certificate.
I was gonna say where I heard it 10,000 other times. Someone
Exactly. No, but
It
but
might have
is
been in
true.
the NASM.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a goal for Brandon. He needs to get the NASM this year.
Screw you, man. To give you some background on that, and for anyone listening, I did not pass the NASM certification, which was a finalized assignment for my master's degree. I got my degree and thus didn't feel the need to go back, and now they have ammunition to hold over my head every time this topic comes up.
It was an internet connection issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it was. The world is built on the scoreboard, and if you lose, you lose. The Cubs didn't get a redo when that douchebag reached out and grabbed the ball, so neither do I. I failed the NASM.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, the NASM is a certification for
I was gonna say,
fitness. It's. I mean,
what the hell is in
do you want to describe it? Because you probably know it better than I do. I mean,
Wait.
maybe not. Maybe not.
it's a. This is not a good time to critique it
What
because I
does
failed.
NASM stand for? Let's start with
The
that.
National Association of Sports Medicine.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
So that's the. I know what it stands for. That's the certification. It is, to their credit, it is one of the best marketed training certifications in the world.
Yeah.
It is. Their marketing is outstanding. Their philosophy and their methods are absolute garbage. It's not good. I mean, look, this is one man's opinion. You can take it how you want. And I understand that this is coming after the backdrop of I just failed their stupid test. But I do not like the way that they teach coaching. And I'm not trying to dive into this for 20 minutes, but it's a very, very flawed certification. And
Yeah.
but regardless, I failed.
Good.
Good.
I'm glad you could get that off your chest. Now let's move on. I think that was pretty much what I was gonna say, just about all of those different things. So, I mean, we have a lot of systems and things that we are creating. Obviously, the people in this room kind of know. We're diving into online training. We're diving into, obviously, more heavily the podcast guests that you're going to be bringing and everything like that. So, I mean,
Not just that, it's partnership agreements.
Absolutely.
It's publications. We want to do a lot of local news outreach, and Andy's going to help with all that. There's a lot that is going to come from the incredible work that you've already done. Like I told him, yeah, she already got in touch with Bert Kreischer's team, which is more than I could do in a week and a half of hitting him up every day.
Yeah, in 3 hours. No, I'm just kidding. If we want to go into specifics. No, I'm just kidding.
Subtle facts.
But just takes grit.
Yeah.
You have to execute. And that's to the point. Like, operations is very versatile if you're that type of person who can execute.
Yeah.
If you can execute and you have a lot of faith and you have trust in yourself and your ability to deliver, you can do anything.
Wow.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's my whole career is built off of grit, blood, sweat, and blood.
And that's why you've been able to self-educate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's half the time, half the problem with people who say that. They're like, I don't need school. I'm going to figure this out on my own. I'm like,
Right.
Are you? I don't know. We'll see. You come back to me in 6 months and we'll see what you did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many fake entrepreneurs do we know out there? I mean, everybody's
God.
an entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah.
what is it? A wantrepreneur? Is that the term?
yeah.
A
I think it's the term.
wantrepreneur?
Yeah.
It takes a certain level of almost like psychopathic consistency.
Obsession.
Yeah. Obsession. It takes a healthy obsession, maybe even an unhealthy obsession to get where you want. Because if you're in this kind of a business, and I love how we're sort of the first PR of this particular niche that you said you took on. You're like, I like this PR. This is really fun.
Yeah.
It's the first time obviously that we have either as well.
Right.
But I have a real appreciation for it. And I get now why people hire on and expand into this realm. It really is. You kind of have to, because it's a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, getting in touch with,
it
I hate the word celebrity because I don't like them, but getting in touch with celebrities, there are firewalls set in place because everybody wants to get in touch with celebrities.
Right.
So if you really want those kinds of guests or those kinds of personalities around your brand, you have to have somebody whose sole purpose it is to break through those firewalls.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of curiosity, because you just mentioned something that I haven't really thought of a lot. When do you think an obsession becomes unhealthy? Is it when there's like not the monetary response, or
not the right person to ask that.
I'm more so posing the question for the group.
I'm like, cue the 3D prints everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh man, I don't know, when you die. That's a good question.
I'm more so as a reflection.
It is, and it's a good question. I think it's an important question because we all know of cases, and I think a lot of times, you know what? You know who answered that really well was actually Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson talked about it. Yes, almost to a T. The way you phrased that is how he answered the question. He talked about the most successful people in whatever field that they're in. Typically, the balance of their life is nowhere near 50-50. If you took like social, family, friends, and business, a 50-50 person will find, maybe X amount of happiness versus X amount of success. And unfortunately, if your life is 50-50 split, most likely your success metric will be not less than happiness, but it will not be as high as somebody who's 80-20, who takes, who sacrifices time with family, time with friends, time at the bar, time to the club. And instead of that, they do business. They do a workout, whatever it is that they're obsessed with, they stick with that. And suddenly the pie chart starts to switch. And now you've got 80% of your time going toward this one thing. Well, those people may have less balance in their life, but they'll have more success.
So it could turn into a situation where it's not healthy if you're sacrificing relationships, health, things like those, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think the best way to answer that is to kind of go back to your point about reflection on the year. This is how I view the new year, new me. I like to look at the new year as a way to reflect on what just happened on the previous year, and kind of as I treat each year as kind of a stopping point. And now we're going forward from here. So it's a really good way to honestly kind of cut off ties to whatever your old problems were. I use the start of 2023 as a way to look back at 2022 and go, okay, well, that was great, but it was also horrifying. Let's just move on from it. We're here at this new hallmark and we're in a new year.
We're not talking about the swimming pool, are we?
We will talk about the swimming pool eventually. The swimming pool has been the bane of my existence for a year. It's been.
It was the NASM.
It's been. Are you kidding? The NASM was an ice cream cone on a hot day compared to that pool. But that's a good example
Yes.
of something like that. We've all got them. You've got nagging projects, things in your life, both either personal or professional, that just won't stop, won't shut up. Just things in our life that are bugging us, that maybe they have been bugging us for a long time. I like looking at the new year as sort of a reset on the stopwatch. It's a good way to go, you know what? Because you could do it one of two ways. Take the pool. I've been dealing with the pool for 1 year. Are you serious? That could be my mindset. Or I could just be like, you know what? It doesn't really matter. However long it's been, it doesn't matter because that's all way back there.
Right.
I'm here now. How much longer will it take from me from January 1st to actually get to where I want with that particular project?
Yeah.
And if you start looking at things in those lenses, well, all of a sudden the timeline gets a lot smaller. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe it's like if we were to dwell on this business as a whole 8-year process. Like if I was looking back all the time going, oh my goodness, it's been 8 years. Why am I not on Joe Rogan right now? Like that's not helpful for anyone. I look at today, where we're at today, and I think the vibe of a new year really complements that, where you get this sort of reset on your stopwatch and you can kind of just take today and look at the future.
Yeah. And I like to Eli's point, what he was saying, not really concentrating on the results, but concentrating on the methods.
Mm-hmm.
Like the methods will get you the results. You just have to fine tune the methods. And I
Systems.
think, yeah, systems, methods, all of those things. And I think for me, it's kind of what you're saying is like getting rid of things that no longer serve me.
Oh,
Like even in business, we do a lot of stuff that's like busy work. And at the end of the day, what I have to really reflect and look back on those things like, how has this served my business? How has this served my goals? Does it not do any of those things? And if it doesn't, I need to change up the method.
Yeah.
And I need to go back to the drawing
Get a
board
different
and
system.
redraft it. Yeah.
Get a bigger and
Oh, sorry.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, bud.
No, what I was going to add is going off of that. I think that's kind of what makes it more of a passion project versus a business, because I think when Brandon brought me in, I helped in an area that Brandon did not have the time or necessarily the expertise in different areas, and having people to fill those roles of things that maybe it is helping your bottom line, but it's taking so much of your time from your like vision of what the company is going. It's better to just outsource that, get someone in there to fill that role and to save time for you to do what you love and what you can actually accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to become, because what you just described is, I can only speak for myself, but I can tell you that is one of the most uncomfortable things to do. To hire someone new on. So that brings with it, obviously, a commitment of you have a new personality. Are they going to vibe? Are they going to mesh? Is it going to work out? There's all of those thoughts going around in your head. There's also, of course, the monetary amount of expansion to a new person in any capacity. That's in your head. And then the biggest one for me, I have to learn to let go. That's very hard for me. That's very hard. Take what we're doing, for example. I mean, I know that if I send an email to Tom Segura every single day, that email is going to get sent. Now, I may not get a hold of him because I probably won't, but I know that if I want something done, I can get it done. I just have to be, because I know I did it. Learning to change that mindset and let go and let other people take on roles that you don't have, because you don't have the time to do everything. It's just impossible. And I never thought that I would ever be able to squeeze another minute of my day for anything. That continues to expand. I continue to like find more time, but it's still impossible to grow to the level that I see this going. By the time 2024 rolls around, this will be an entirely different company.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
This
I won't guarantee that.
Yes. It will be.
Really,
I see this going very, very large. It's hard to describe exactly in words the directions that I want to see happen, but I can kind of visualize a certain level of, I can certainly level up in my head and see where this can go in 1 year. And I have a lot of goals that, like we've discussed here, but also goals internally for myself, things I want to see improve. Obviously myself personally with training, with business, but just the whole thing as an entity, seeing it's far better for the entity to grow than just for me as an individual to grow. That's been the shift in my mindset.
Out of curiosity, I would love to know, maybe starting with you, Jake, if you had to have one guest on for this year, like one person that you want to have on, who is that person, and go around.
I'll start. I would say I'd love to have Bedros on.
Okay.
Bedros would be my
I'll
guy.
pull
Yeah.
this IG.
You know, that's so crazy because that's honestly,
He's not on the list. I got to get him on the list.
He's on my list.
Is
Is
That's-
he on your list?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was
Good.
gonna do the outreach and then let you know, but
Yes,
you
yes.
know,
He's a mentor
he's
to me.
awesome.
Kind
He's an amazing
he doesn't know
guy.
it, but he's
yeah,
a mentor to me.
amazing.
He will. He will. And you, it's very exciting, and I'm trying to kind of keep it together when I talk about this stuff. It's very exciting to see things that have only existed in your imagination
Right.
really start to become a reality, and something happens when you reach a certain point where all of a sudden these very impossible goals become all of a sudden attainable. Where a conversation, if we would have had 3 years ago, hey, I'd like to have Bedros Keuilian on. Well, first of all, 3 years ago, I might have said, who's that? But second of all, it would have been impossible. It would have been something that I would have been like, well, maybe one day, who knows? Seeing where it's at today, that's a big shift. And it's not just a shift in mindset. I can see in everybody that I interact with that this is now a realistic goal to set for this year. Guys like him, it's possible. It's not, in fact, I would say it's not improbable.
Right.
So Bedros is a great choice. Did you pull up his page?
Oh yeah, I did. I already
Okay,
pulled
perfect.
it up. Who is yours to have on here and not to go on theirs?
Okay. And it's gotta be, it has to be within this year. Because
no, it doesn't have to be. It's more so like, what's your personal goal?
I mean, I want to give a realistic answer to this. I could
Right.
say like Joe Rogan, but that's not, I don't think, a realistic
Right.
goal for this. Alex Hormozy
Okay.
would be
Right.
a very,
Yeah,
that'd be a
you
very good guest.
mine.
Did I really take yours?
Yeah, because
He would be great.
He's in the pipeline for some
He'd-
other things.
he'd be
in
up there.
in this network, in this Arizona community. He's already in the pipeline, so
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Him
Yeah.
and his
I'm
wife.
like, Alex,
His wife would be
yeah.
great to have
Yeah,
on too. Both
She's
of them.
amazing.
She is. Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, I could probably tell
Amazing.
you 5 or 6, and they'd all be just as good as that.
Right.
It'd be really cool to have Laird Hamilton on.
Mhm.
It would be really cool to have. I'd love to talk to Aubrey Marcus. I would love to talk to
Yeah.
that freaking guy.
Oh my god, no, yeah.
Is that the On It?
Yeah, that's the CEO of On, or the actually the ex-CEO of On, because he sold. He doesn't. I don't think he does much with On It anymore.
He's the one who goes up to Sedona, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
him.
I know who he is.
Aubrey, come on, buddy. Let's talk. I want to know, how did this happen? No, he'd be a great one. Andy, too, what do you think? What would yours be? What
No,
do you think?
I mean, truly, mine would.
truly would be Alex.
I watch Alex's videos probably every single day, so
He's
I have that. His mentality is in my brain now.
a pretty insightful guy.
So yeah,
He's got some great stuff.
Yeah, and it truly the real hard and rough like entrepreneurial story. He's like, I was sleeping on the floor of my gyms, now I'm making multi-million-dollars. Like, that is a true champion.
Yeah.
You know,
So is his wife. In the book,
right?
I remember he said, "I
Their
love that
story
part."
together.
Yes,
Mhm.
how he remember, because he told her, if you leave me, I wouldn't blame you. I
Right.
would leave me.
Right.
Yeah.
And remember what she told him?
No.
I would stay with you if we slept under a bridge. That's outstanding.
Yeah,
that's
powerful.
amazing. That's very cool, and that's rare. Very. Oh my gosh, is that rare?
You know who would be a cool one too is Patrick Bett.
Who's that?
Who?
Patrick. Hold up, I gotta pull up his Instagram. Just to make sure.
We'll see if he can do it. What is it?
Patrick
Bet David?
David. Yeah.
Okay, I have him up right now.
Got him. Yeah, he would be really good too. He's
He's like a sales.
Dude, I have no idea who this is.
he has a story. He's an entrepreneur, but his story, he's coming from Iran, and
He's an Assyrian. but I don't-
migrating to the United States. But he's kind of got
My
the
geography sucks. That's not the same, right? Proud Assyrian. That's not Iran, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
It-
I don't know. I guess we could Google it. I guess we could Google it.
That's all right.
We'll get him on here. We'll ask him.
But yeah, he's got a really cool story. It's kind of the immigrant edge that Bedros talks about a lot. Coming from nothing and having to rebuild himself in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And he's he talks to a lot of people, and a lot of people resonate with his message. So he'd be a good one.
Yeah.
So mine is, I think I've showed you guys pretty much this guy like 5 or 6 times. His name is Dr. James. Oh, that's a hard one to say. Nicolantonio.
Oh my goodness.
So
That name is a mouthful.
yeah,
How do you spell it?
You spell it DINICOLANTONIO. That is a mouthful.
Dinicolantonio.
I think that's.
Antonio.
I think I actually just watched a video where he actually says his name.
And how
I'll
many
play that
vowels are
after.
in that name?
A lot. But a little context to him is he is a doctor.
Andrew
and,
Huberman would be another one. Andrew Huberman would be outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah. His whole thing is about like salt, collagen, just different healthy
Oh
aspects.
yeah, this is the nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
That's super.
I don't understand this. I mean, this guy, his entire look at his page. It's all just basically tweets, and millions of people follow that.
Yeah, the iPad's being a little
He
weird.
okay, but he's an author, right? He's got a couple
Mhm.
books.
Yep.
He's been in the Okay, all right. Well, he's an author. That
What
makes
about
sense.
BioLane?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Let's get him on
have
with
him
someone that
Honestly, I would
it'd
love
be
it.
fun to get like two differing opinions on,
Neo Verto and Dr. Joel Seedman.
yes.
Let's get them in here. And do you know those guys? You understand the dilemma?
Yes.
I think the whole thing is stupid, but this is very, very important to a lot of different
Right.
people.
No, it is.
Let's get them.
No.
I would love to get them both in here.
Let's get Derek from More Plates, More Dates.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
a stud.
Yeah.
He's
You don't
a
know him?
stud.
Yeah.
Send you his
need to
page.
know him.
Oh, you've got to know him. He's outstanding.
Yeah, no,
me
one
send
of the
you
most
his page.
engaging accounts on YouTube.
Okay.
All of it is like just him, like with like a really boring background, but he has a way of just like storytelling and like he's very knowledgeable on like
Very
steroids and stuff
knowledgeable.
like that.
Cool.
But no, really good
to
dude.
give you a little bit of a background,
Sure.
he's who helped break the Liver King. He is
Liver
the guy who,
King.
yes, he went on Joe Rogan. They went through all of
Whoa.
his androgynous steroid use, and he has a very, very deep knowledge of
Okay.
steroid use, both safe and unsafe.
Mhm.
And he's the guy. He said essentially what the Liver King is running is enough to get 2 Mr. Olympias to the stage.
Whoa.
That's how much drugs the Liver
Whoa.
King is doing.
Okay.
But Derek is
Jeez.
probably the single most notable guy in that particular field. He's let me send him to you right now. You know what I'll do? I'll just add him to the list.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
The magical list.
The
Yeah.
magical list, our podcast.
All right.
list.
What about comedians?
Comedians?
What comedian would you like to see on the podcast?
By the way, you know what? We're not even going to discuss it in here, but your idea was good, and you know what his idea is, like
Oh.
how to get him. That's a great idea. Again, I just keep going back to Joe Rogan. Honestly, I
know, it's so tough.
would.
There's so many good
Mhm.
ones.
There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
I would love to get Tom Segura or Burt Kreischer. Either
Yeah.
just
Right.
because they know how to do this.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
do this.
Right.
Mine is probably Will Arnett.
Will
That
Arnett.
would
So
be-
funny.
that
would be
Smart
really
List. Have
good.
you listened to that podcast?
I don't know if I have.
It's
Maybe I have
him and Jason Bateman, and then Sean Hayes.
to. Okay.
Which I'm not really familiar with Sean Hayes, but
Right.
Will Arnett,
Yeah.
you familiar with who he is from his movies?
Um.
Arrested Development. Did you ever see that show?
Probably not.
You'd recognize him if you saw him. He's been in a lot
Probably.
of like Will Ferrell's movies. He
Sure.
was in and Jason Bateman and he have always had kind of a duo, like comedy duo.
Yeah,
It's
I know
so
Jason
good.
Bateman. is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman would be another really great guest.
Yeah.
He'd be outstanding. Yeah. No, I would say probably. Honestly, I'd probably pick Tom. Probably Tom Segura.
Tom
He'd
Segura,
be my
yeah.
favorite comedian to have on. He's
Yeah.
just so, and I know he's got a really cool, like they're on a fitness kick. That's what I love about.
They
those
never
guys.
quit Sober October. They
No.
just kept it going.
No,
throughout the year.
half their content is just those guys trying to lose weight
Yeah.
and work out, and I love that. I love that the two of them. It's almost more inspiring than a guy like Rogan because Rogan's been fit since he was 16 years old. Like Rogan's always had that background. Those guys didn't do anything until they were like 44 years old.
I'm gonna be disappointed though when Burt Kreischer takes off his shirt and he has a 6-pack.
Rest assured, I'm pretty sure that guy still drinks, and it's never gonna happen. Oh, that dude. I'm just happy and impressed that he's at least doing enough to stay with us a little bit longer. Like, you don't want a repeat of, Belushi or John Candy or all those overweight comedians. They usually don't last a lot longer than 40s, and so it's good he's doing something. He has to. That lifestyle doesn't last long. You can't age well if that's your whole shtick.
Mhm.
If all you do is get drunk on stage and tell secrets, like you're not gonna make it to be 60.
Yeah, traveling too. That's very rough. Being on the road, not having regular nutrition, workouts, all that sleep.
Yeah.
That's really got to affect you quite a bit too.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. You know who I don't understand how he is still doing what he's doing, because he's not like Barker. He is not doing anything. John Daly.
I was just about to say that.
Is that not the you familiar with John Daly? Yeah.
We need to get
Dude.
John Daly on. That's awesome. Oh, come on.
Let's do it.
We need to get a filter so we can have cigars or anything.
Oh,
in here
absolutely.
first. Yeah.
Oh, that dude. He went on. He was on somebody's show last week. It might have been an old clip. He told this guy that he drinks 20 to 22 Diet Cokes a day. The guy's like, how?
Oh.
He's like, I don't drink water. I hate water. He's like, really? And no one advised you that this was not. He's like, oh, I despise it. He's like, it's just beer and Coke. That's it.
Oh
All
my-
that guy drinks.
That is so bad.
Okay.
It's a really good habit.
I don't.
But,
But
really, yeah.
he still goes out, and they showed him. They showed him in the fairway. He's got a beer in one hand and his wedge in the other, and he's drunk, but you'd never know it. Chips with one hand, and from 60 yards, he puts it like that. And the guy he's with is like, "What the?" It's the most ridiculously athletic but frustrating individual to play golf with. I can only imagine. But that would be a very fun guest to have on. I would love to meet John Daly.
He was on the they have that. Have you seen the walk away thing? It's like a walk away. Basically, these guys heckle you while you're hitting the golf ball.
Yes,
And
yes.
They try to get you to. It's called like step back challenge, where they try to get you step back off the tee or away from your shot because you're laughing too hard.
That's right.
And they literally couldn't shake him. And
No.
everything they said to him, like he's like whatever, like
They
making fun
had
of them.
The joke that I remember, they're like, oh, you have nice tits. Do you have an OnlyFans? And he said, I don't remember what he said to him, but you're right. Nothing fazed him. He doesn't even care.
They said something about Joe Dirt too. There was another.
Yes,
Joe Dirt
they did,
joke.
because he's always got the blonde mullet.
Yeah.
You got to figure if you're that guy, the level of trash talk that he must have received all throughout his career. I mean, people just like, even if I didn't know who he was, I'd heckle him. If I was drunk at the Phoenix Open, I saw him walk by, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about you. That'd be a great guest.
He would be a great guest. Yeah. His stories would be incredible.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, that guy, yeah.
Completely unrelated, just for the audience. If you look at Jake's screen right now, do you guys see those? What do you even call them? The skulls? Is it 3D prints up there?
Oh,
Okay.
Those are incredible.
yeah.
Those are really cool.
Those are cool, aren't they?
They're new.
Do they? I didn't even think about that in Jake's seat. Do those show up on the?
Oh, yeah.
On the screen. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
really
I found an artist. She
don't
does
touch
them out of. No, he can touch them. It's all good. Yeah, she basically does 3D print and paint. They're like Marvel variation on skulls. Someone sent them to me on Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna reach out to this person and get all of them. So yeah, she sent us these, and then we've got the headphone holders that are coming soon. Yeah, that's why I love this. I suppose I have a little flair for the design work when it comes. to
Yeah,
this
a little,
stuff.
just a little flair. A little flair.
What's fun about a studio is you can just pack it. Like a podcast studio, you can do like anything. You just put a bunch
Yeah.
of shelves on the wall, up the walls, on the ceiling. Everything, every angle in here is covered by something.
The cigar capability is definitely one of our 2023 goals.
That's a
for
goal.
the podcast.
That'd be one of my goals. I guess I haven't really talked about that yet, have I? My goals. That would be one. I want to finish I go between what I call hardware mode and visionary mode, where I'm actually working on either something physical and tangible that I have to build or buy. That's hardware mode. I want to get out of that. The murals, the flooring, the windows, all that stuff is still hardware mode. Hoping to be out of that in the next 30 days. Once that happens, the goal is to step back and really nurture what each one of the three of you are doing. That is
That's not happening. Do you know?
I just want to micromanage you guys.
Yeah,
a micro form of management. What is that called again?
Microgym. Perfect.
Boom.
I'm gonna step away from my job and just start micromanaging each and every one of you.
No, so why I'm shaking my head no, for context, I have heard Brandon say, oh, this is the last project about 37 times now.
What about the last piece of equipment?
Oh, yeah, it's like, oh, the gym is now totally full. There's no, oh, wait. It just keeps going. So, yeah, no, that's a good goal. I'm sure it's really going to happen.
In my defense, the equipment usually comes free, but
I'll give you that.
with regards to with regards to the expansion, it's true. As once I get something, and I'm sorry, this is halfway your fault. You keep giving me ideas. I was perfectly happy with the way everything looked. He walks by and he goes, "Oh, you know what would be really great? It's like a windowed mirror, like so I could see in, but we can't see out." I'm like,
Oh my god.
And I was there. I was there for
outstanding
that.
You did tell me that was his idea.
That was his idea.
Wow.
That is a true story, and I was there. And Brand's response was, "No, that would cost too much money. We won't do it." And I was like, "Oh, great!" He finally said no. I leave for like 3 days. I come home, and he's like, "Oh, so we're gonna be taking these walls down, putting." And I'm like, "Dude, you just said no to that like a week ago, and now just money, poof, gone."
it's
Too good.
it's tough to know what to say. I definitely agree that it's to relate this to the point of obsession. I honestly I honestly kind of want to know your opinions on it, because I never wanted to be the person that goes overboard, but
Yeah, that's you, all right.
for everything that I do at this point and at this juncture in the business, I won't do it unless I think it's the best possible idea, A, and it has permanence to it, B. So all the expansion that I do, and look, it is going to end, I promise. But do you see it as necessary, unnecessary, somewhere in between? I mean, it's obviously...
Here we go.
Are you asking me? Or
I
who you
guess I'm asking both of you, because it's
Yes.
yes to unnecessary, or yes
Some
to...
of the things, like the mirror, unnecessary, but it's cool.
But
it's-
I feel like we would have said that about a lot of things, and then once it's actually, living, breathing inside the gym or the podcast studio,
You are such an enabler. Oh my god.
it's the attraction.
Just have another drink, bro. You're fine.
But thinking in terms of, I was just talking about this with the couple that I train. They do the vinyl wraps. They own the business, so they're the owners of the Vinyl Vixen. They're a great company, by the way.
You got to tell about what your plan is for that too.
Yeah, I will. They're working with me. Fine. They're working with me to collaborate on self-leveling and then actually wrapping the flooring for the hallway that goes throughout the business.
God.
So it's gonna be wrapped like a. You'll see it. It's very cool. It's gonna be like a car.
I'm sure it's gonna be very cool.
Your typical home.
It's
Yeah.
right, exactly. I was talking with them about the fact that a large part of a successful entrepreneur venture is the ability to be uncomfortable. To get to that place where you're like, okay, I need to figure this out as quickly as possible and get an ROI on what I'm doing, because I am not comfortable with the way that I am currently having. But in that space, in that little, I wouldn't necessarily say to be in danger of whatever financial, but to be uncomfortable for me has always produced the most growth in the fastest amount of time. I mean, to create what is being made in there in a matter of what will be, so far it's been under a month. So in less than 1 month, they've done that whole change up, and in another month, the whole thing will be done. So a 60-day project that could easily have been stretched out for 6 months will yield a very fast result, but that of course means you got to pay for it all right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
This
Go
would
ahead.
this would be a perfect place to have an ad about like cozy earth, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. That would be a perfect place for that. By the way, you should put that on the list, because Cozy Earth. Do you know that brand?
no.
Oh my gosh!
No idea what
I'm
you're
gonna
talking
plug-
about.
I'm gonna
I
plug
don't.
someone. You do? Or
I
you
don't know.
Okay, Cozy Earth is the single greatest.
Say it
thing-
again.
Cozy Earth.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I just like hearing you say it.
Cozy Earth is the single greatest thing to ever happen.
my gosh.
It's the softest clothing you will ever have, and me and Ellie just got the sheets of Cozy Earth.
They make bed sheets.
Yeah, they make bed sheet. I literally slept in it for the first time last night. Oh my gosh, best night's sleep ever.
Eli, we're trying to get you out of your comfort zone.
This is
Okay.
we're literally talking about
very
being uncomfortable.
counterproductive.
He's like, hey, get me back
This
in
is
bed.
the most comfortable.
Oh yeah, I had trouble getting out of bed today. I was like, oh,
You know what I did too this morning? Oh, you know what it is? It's winter. When it's winter,
so
Right.
dark.
it's so dark and it's
Cold.
cold.
Yeah.
Got a puppy.
Don't
that's
talk
just
to me
like-
about winter. You guys are in Arizona.
Okay.
That's fair. It's
Yeah,
not,
that's true.
but for us, it's
Yeah.
cold. It's colder than it typically is. But do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everything, and not to say to my credit, but to my credit, everything that has been expanded, and really what everyone has done, what I love about it, and I think a big reason why it has been successful is because it's all going in the same direction. How many people do we know where they start on something, then maybe they realize, oh my gosh, I don't have the capability to do this, or God forbid, someone else is already doing it better. Oh no, I need to pivot. And so all that work I just did, it's kind of like it didn't happen. None of that's happened here. I mean, from the moment I put the first dumbbell in there, everything has been going in the same direction. And so while it may be unnecessary or uncomfortable this was most likely not necessary when I first started doing it, and when I first, really got into the details of what it would cost to create this the way I wanted to see it. It was like, oh man, this is really going to be uncomfortable. But look at what it's done in such a short amount of time. I built it in a short amount of time, and now we have Andie getting these guests in a very short. How long have we even been doing it in here?
What, the podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know, like in this room.
Who was the first? Elena? Was she the first?
Eleanor. It was 5 or 6 episodes ago. No, 7. I don't know.
We've only been in here 7 weeks. That can't be.
I'll look. But to your credit, I mean, you were a very unique situation because most people don't find what they're truly passionate about till their late 30s, maybe 40s,
or ever,
if ever.
Or ever.
And I mean, that's one of the unique things about what you were saying about all going in one direction, because you didn't start off doing this. You start off in real estate. You start off hating like what you were doing, and you found it very quickly on. Most people don't find that. And I think when they're going through their life cycle of working for a job, and maybe it is a waste of time and they just completely do a 180 on their career, that's still a learning experience that maybe you don't get the benefit of getting because you found your passion right away. Whereas someone may have had 5 or 6 different jobs before they found their passion, and they could use all of those different jobs to help them with this new passion. I mean, it's about your life journey and figuring out kind of what you were passionate about long term, right?
Yeah. And I think it's also very helpful that I happen to find my passion in something that actually equates to a career.
Correct.
See, because most people, all people, have passions in their life, but it very rarely coincides with what they do for their work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of us fall into that category.
1,000%.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, yeah, even I think thinking of myself, multiple job paths, like all having this link of, I really wanted to support visionaries for a very long time. I knew that was my strength.
I love that.
How do I monetize that? I was like, how do I do that? Is that consulting? Like, what is that? And just, so yeah, over time, sometimes you're lucky it can develop. I think everyone knows what they want. I don't think everyone's brave enough to go get what they want, or be able to have those pain points, uncomfortability to work through. Okay, how do I make this a career? Because that's,
it's risky usually.
It's really risky.
And I'll say this to your credit, especially what you and I went through in the last week is a perfect example of the point I'm going to make. When you are trying to bring your brand, rather personal or professional, and merge with someone else's, especially in your case, if you're an integration person and you want to become together and you want to get together with a visionary and a company that's already going, there are 2 things that I think have to happen. The first is that you have to be willing to work with the person's situation that you're coming into. And you did that so beautifully with what the conversations we had, the back and forth with regards to how we would structure the work, all of that kind of stuff. You did that so well. And the second thing is to create your own value. And when you partner with, because a lot of times the visionaries, they are sort of, first in line in a company, and without the rest, the company would stay with them and it would get this tall. But as the company grows with the other people, that visionary is usually still up there, but what I find personally most valuable with the people I work with is their ability to create their own value. Because the higher you go, the less tolerance or ability that I will have to help someone create their own value. Whoever I work with, I cannot, to make fun of the point earlier about you want to micromanage us, I could never micromanage anyone.
Mhm.
It's literally, okay, you manage yourself.
Right.
Let's give it this amount of time and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
And if it works, great. You brought value to yourself and to the entity as a whole.
Right.
Let's keep going. Or you didn't. And that's
Right.
why whenever, see, for me, the worst, I have a very, very small fuse for incompetence. I feel like most people
Totally.
would say they would, but when you operate on a wavelength that kind of just fuels
Right.
off of positive energy and just everything going up, the minute you hit somebody who, they claimed that they're going to create value or
Right.
they're going to provide X, Y, and Z
Right.
in this amount of time, and then you get there and they just don't,
Right.
it's very hard for me to be like, okay, well, maybe let me help you. It's very hard for me to do
Right.
that.
And I think that's something I mentioned too. I was like, well, let me bring the results and then you can tell me. And that's,
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, you're like, I want this guy. I was like, okay. Next day, it's like,
Next day.
okay, here's the response. So,
Mhm.
right, executing. Like 2023 is about executing. If you
Absolutely.
can't execute, you're gonna be farther down on the totem
yeah.
than a lot of other people. It's
yeah.
not the year to practice.
Far, far better to keep
Yeah.
your circle small whenever, even if it's personal or professional. In our personal
Mm-hmm.
circles, I feel like we can put up with a little bit more bullshit because they're friends. But
Right.
with professional spheres, far, far better to keep things small, intimate. That way you don't have to micromanage anyone,
Right.
but you certainly notice when somebody
Yeah.
isn't performing.
And that's one of the benefits of us having a small team is like we can pivot really quickly if we need to. If something's not working, we need to go a different direction. We can do
Right.
that really easily. Not like a
Absolutely.
large corporation where you have to get like sign-offs
Approvals, yeah.
and
Yeah.
approvals to do all that stuff. So
I hate the idea of employees. Thinking of it's why I hate the idea of like hiring. I like collaboration. I
Right.
like working with someone who has already. That's why I never wanted employees, because an employee to me makes me think I need to train this person or I need to teach this person how to do their job.
Sure.
That's what I think of when I think of an employee. If I collaborate with someone, well, most likely they've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years in their business. They know what it is they have to do and they know how to do it.
Right.
So now it's just bringing them together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where 2023 is going to be the absolute best for us. Because all four of us and Braxton, dang it, Braxton would have been great to be here. I feel kind of bad now. You like put it in my head. I didn't even think about it. We
Yeah,
should
just keep throwing her under the bus.
We'll have to think.
Yeah.
We'll have to reach out to him and tell him to join the next one. We
Aw.
should. I mentioned to Andy, as we grow and as monetization is another thing that we really didn't touch on all that much, but from his efforts, certainly the YouTube channel, things are going to start growing. Hopefully,
Yeah.
there's.
Let me actually address on that, because for those individuals that aren't really sure like which platforms to be on specifically, if you're not on YouTube right now, especially in 2023, you are going to miss out on a huge opportunity. So not only does YouTube have the best monetization when it comes to a social media platform, they are also heavily trying to compete with TikTok when it comes to monetizing, because TikTok is notoriously bad at actually monetizing to their creators, whereas YouTube Shorts are now, I believe, starting late January, maybe February, they're starting to actually monetize YouTube Shorts.
That's so good.
And
So they haven't done that yet.
They have not done it. That's coming out in the next month. I think it's February. February of this year is when they're going to be monetizing YouTube Shorts. Right now, honestly, we've seen a lot of traction on YouTube Shorts specifically compared to TikTok. And Instagram Reels. Everyone's kind of coming after TikTok, but yeah, be on YouTube Shorts. That's the best place to monetize. Instagram is another one. TikTok is definitely bottom tier, but it is the best algorithm to make you go viral.
Yeah. I think YouTube has always kind of been the bread and butter. If you are actually trying to eat off social media, you're trying to make content that will pay you, then YouTube is kind of the best one. Each one has a different purpose, of course. If you do paid ads or anything like that, then Facebook, Instagram, that's where you can create an actual product that will get you money. But if you want direct money for your content, YouTube.
And YouTube has the ability to have literally every social media platform in one category. So YouTube is great at long format, like the podcast, like product reviews, whereas the other platforms don't really do that longer format. And with the integration of YouTube Shorts, it has the shorter content. If you wanted to post a picture like Instagram, you can also do that on here. Really and truly, YouTube is kind of the spot right now. Do you agree?
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, I think long form content it's catching a really good wind again. I think a few years ago when YouTube was first a big hit, a lot of people were into watching like the hour-long vlogs and things like that. And I think it tapered off because of like TikTok and then Instagram Reels, and it's coming back into full swing. So
It's such a good place to get an education.
yeah.
It's such a good place to be
Yeah.
self-taught.
YouTube University.
Yeah. I mean, everyone in this
Absolutely.
room has used
Yeah.
YouTube University for probably
Mhm.
quite a lot.
Correct.
House projects. It's the best.
House projects are good. Some house projects. Sometimes I still watch the YouTube videos on like how to change a water heater or something. I'm like, oh man, I don't even think I want to try to do this. But it's how I made this. It's how the podcast came together. That was all YouTube.
Yeah.
And then
YouTube's
me
great.
learning how to actually
And then
run
you-
it is
yeah.
all
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube. So yeah, you kind of go full circle.
Yes, it's looking up. I'm very excited. Well, guys, that was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
That was fun. That
Thank
was
you.
totally chill vibe. Thank you so much, Andie, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
again.
having me.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Where can they find you if they want to reach out
Yeah.
for your PR skills?
Right now I am totally available on Instagram.
Mhm.
So Instagram handle Versatile Operations. Soon I will make a really nice clicked funneled website for everybody, but that is not right now.
There you go.
Backdoor communication, best way.
Got it.
Or if you
What's it called again? The handle?
Versatile Operations. It is not a very
Operations.
Is that one?
yeah,
There it is.
yes, it is. That's me.
Okay. Brand new.
Just started.
Yeah,
Okay.
just started. It is not a fully functioning running Instagram.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
cool.
Well, we'll help you make it one.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Yeah. All right. We'll cut it there, bud.